I have just got done, well I say I've just got done, I'm still playing, but I want to make a video on my experience so far, but I have been playing the demo of the new HD 2D action RPG, and let me get this title right. The Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales. Now you might be thinking, oh what kind of title is that? But we're coming from the studio that has gave us Bravely Default, Octopath Traveler, Triangle Strategy. I think this is probably one of the more nice titles to have for a game here from Team Asano. But in today's video I want to talk about what I've played of the demo, what we can expect, and why I'm pretty excited for this game. So with that all being said, what is up guys, Jen here, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. As always, got your code with timestamps down below, so when you skip to a certain section, feel free to do so. All I ask is for you to support the channel and hit that like button, and if you want to stick around for some more Square Enix content, then you're already in the right place. Just hit that subscribe button. So in case you didn't know, this is available as a demo on the Nintendo Switch 2 right now. Don't know if it's going to come to other platforms as a demo, because this game is coming out on all platforms, which again is really nice to see from Square Enix hitting that multi-platform strategy. But let's dive in what we can expect from The Adventures of Elliot. This is a completely new action RPG, which is the first in the HD 2D series, which combines the pixel art as we know with 3D CG. In a corner of a continent overrun with beast tribes, the Kingdom of Hutha is humanity's sole bastion, kept safe by a magical barrier. After a discovery in the unknown ruins, the adventurer Elliot and his fairy sidekick Fairy brave the dangers outside the kingdom on a journey spanning not only the continent, but its 1,000-year history. You get to open paths as you explore the untamed continent, reveal the world's mysteries, history, and enjoy an intuitive and rewarding action battle system with a healthy dose of strategic support abilities from a fairy. So that's just like the brief overview of what to expect. If you don't want to hear any more, then I appreciate your time, but I'm going to dive into my experience, and man, if I was to compare this to a game that I've played recently, it's got to be The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. It is crazy how this feels, and it makes me want a Link to the Past HD 2D game after playing this with a bit more fluidity. This plays really well. There are a few things I hope that they do change, and we'll get into that as we do that. But I'm not going to talk about the story no longer. I'm not going to talk about the characters. You know about Elliot, you know about the fairy, so that is all good. This takes place in the continent of Philabilidia. It's a really long name, it's a bit of a ball ache to pronounce, but we'll just roll with what I said. But yeah, this game is all about its exploration, so I'm going to start off with that straight off the bat. As soon as I left the first town and I was like, what do I do? And getting used to the controls, I'm going to talk about the combat now by blocking with my shield and using the sword. But basic things that you would expect from like A Link to the Past. But the exploration, we can go anywhere, things appear on the map, we can access that map at any time, and we can see what we've come across. Maybe there's a secret cave or a secret dungeon or something that's just not linked to the main story. I'll try and keep on track when I'm explaining this. So as soon as I went out into the town, there was a wall that had a crack on it. My fairy companion suggested to me, hey, maybe you should use a bomb. And I was like, you know what, maybe I should. So I dropped a bomb, ran away from it, and it created a doorway to a treasure dungeon. That straight off the bat, which I was greeted with, I knew what kind of game I'm getting into here. This is a game that's going to reward you for your exploration. I went into that treasure dungeon. I can jump, I can use a teleport skill, which we'll get into when we talk about the combat. I can go in all directions, and of course I can attack and block. But getting through that treasure dungeon, got to the end of it, defeated a couple of enemies, got a nice treasure. It was a item that increased my life count, so think of it as a heart from Legend of Zelda. And I was like, wow, I just want to explore now, because I want to get all of the secret things. I want to fight all of the secret things, and I want to see what this is all about. And you kind of traverse through this land. You eventually end up in a swamp land, or you can go towards the beach and a deserty area as well if need be. It's kind of your own path, do what you want to do. But I was just exploring, and I was like, man, I really like how this plays. Now if you do use the right analog stick, you get to control the fairy, and at first I was like, this is a bit finicky, but then when I combined it with combat, it started to become a bit more intuitive, and I kind of got what I needed to do with it. So I made sure that I set my fairy's ability as a teleport, because it helped out in combat. You can also change it to like a dash, which will probably help you out for exploration, because there isn't a dash button per se. You walk or run relatively fast, but I would like to run a little bit faster because we can cut grass, we can pick up barrels, we can throw them down, we can break things, we can find little secrets in the grass, secret items, and everything else in between. Exploration, honestly, in a nutshell, is just like A Link to the Past. A lot more smoother and a lot more pretty looking. Before we dive into combat, I mentioned that we left the town that we started off in the game. This is a typical town with secrets to find, just like with the exploration of the overworld, with shops to go and buy things. The way it works here in the Adventures of Elliot is quite unique. You have things called Magicite, and in this demo in particular, we are restricted to getting 1 or 2 star Magicite, which is random. We give the shopkeeper some Magicite shards, and it goes into this weird cat statue, and it gives us out something that could help our sword abilities, our bow abilities, or our bomb abilities, because they're the items we start off with. So for example, you might have something that raises your attack by 2, and you can keep this all in a little Magicite box, and you have a number of Magicite points that you can have for this box before you go over. So you really got to pick and choose. The good thing about it is you can have up to 8 or 10 loadouts at a time. So if you're wanting a more sword focused Magicite loadout, then have that, and then you can switch on the fly by using one of the trigger buttons to be able to swap to another one. So it's a really nice mechanic. Everything just felt really smooth. The only thing that annoyed me is a bit of the UI is a bit like overbearing. I would like less of the UI. For some strange reason, the fairy Fae has a picture in the lower left corner. Don't really know why that's there. It does have a couple of speech bubbles where she comments on like, oh hey, there's a crack in the wall like we mentioned previously. I wish there was an option to turn it off because I just want my life bar, maybe a nice little thing in the corner where I know what attacks I'm going to be using or what I've got equipped, and we'll be fine with that. But you get to pick between your weapons. Obviously, by default, you start off with a sword and a bomb. Straight off the bat, I started in a castle, pressed the wrong button, I dropped a bomb, and I thought, oh my god, I've just caused utter chaos. Luckily, it's a video game, so dropping a bomb in the middle of the castle doesn't really do anything. But I had to get used to the buttons straight away. I traded the bombs for some arrows, but then I was like, when I got to that crack in the wall, I was like, man, I need to bring up my bomb. So luckily, there is, again, an option, a trigger button that allows you to equip on the fly. Feel like I'm bouncing over a lot of things. I want to leave combat to last, but before there was a few things that I came across in my exploration phase, and I came across these mysterious structures called Shrines of Life, and essentially these are like little trials, little shrines. We could make the Zelda comparison again, right? Little shrines, little temples that we go in to get rewards. The first one was just dodging arrows, and I was like going towards a path, just going left and right, making sure I don't get hit. I got hit a few times, but still made it to the end, got to a treasure, hey presto, that was really nice. The next one was a more ability focused trial where I had to equip the wind dash to go across these platforms that broke. If I did my normal walking or running speed, I was going to fall to my death, and that is what happened a couple of times, because if you are a bit out of control with that wind dash, you can be headbutting things left, right and center, and that could be to your detriment. But a lot of fun here, very exciting. This is just a taster as well, by the way, in this demo. There was so much to do, and there's so much more that I want to do. So there's just another thing. I came across a rare monster called a jewelry, which basically is a monster you hit a lot of times, and you get some Magicite shards, which you can then trade into the shop to get more abilities. So much here. But let's talk about combat. Let's just wrap things up with the combat, because I want you to experience for yourself if you haven't, or if you're waiting on an opinion. I'm hoping this opinion helped you out. But combat is not like what we've got from previous Team Asano games. We're not getting experience. The Magicite system is kind of the crux. I guess you compare it to a materia system to a certain degree as well. You have to make sure you meet the requirements, so you can get things like raising your attack by 2, or having a wider radius with your attacks, or when you charge up your sword attack or bow attack, you do a bit more of a powerful shot or something like that. There's so many little things that I've come across which have helped out, and combat is really simple. You defend with your shield, you can attack with your sword, you can drop a bomb, or you can use your bow and arrow as of right now in this demo. And you do need to look at a couple of enemy patterns. There are these weird fire looking egg things that shot things in directions up, down, left and right, and I thought, okay, I know how to attack these. But then I came across some other ones that decided, nah, we're not going up, down, left, right, we're going to go in the diagonals, and it kind of threw me off a little bit. But as soon as I got into it, started using my shield and getting ready to attack, it was all good. But let's talk about Fae for a second as well. We can actually tell Fae to to go away if we don't want her active while we're doing battling, but you can actually control her with the right stick as previously mentioned, and you could stay next to a tree and get her to go towards an enemy and she'll do a couple of light attacks. But if you have the teleport warp ability equipped for Faye, you can then teleport to her location. So what I was doing is I was getting Faye towards an enemy and then using the teleport attack, then boom, got a nice little strike in, and it was just really satisfying getting that back attack, getting that strike in. But some enemies like have little things where they die and they come back to life, so you need to attack them even more when they're dead to keep them dead. There's just a lot of little things. It's very basic, but when you dive in deeper to the systems, there's a lot to it. Very excited. I know that I've said that a few times now, but the screen's right in front of me, waiting for me to play more. It looks really promising. There's a few things that I don't like I'd like to customize the UI just a little bit more, but apart from that, not really invested in the story. I'm not really paid attention to the story because when I get a demo like this, I like to just dive into and experience the gameplay. The story can wait till my first full playthrough, but it looks really promising. It's dropping in 2026 on all platforms. Let me know in the comment section down below if you've tried this out or planning on trying this out. Hopefully there'll be a demo out eventually on all systems, but for now it's just the Switch 2. But this is a promising title for Square Enix, and I'm just awaiting more information at this point. So I appreciate you watching. Thank you for your time, and until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.